Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have this 2022 Lexus RX 350 and we're going to do the taillight tint installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before the installation and this is how it looks after the installation. So tint has PPF properties, which means it will protect the lenses from yellowing over time, as well as protect it from any small scratches or any road debris that might hit the lens. If you like the product, link for the product will be down in the description below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So the tools you need in order to install the tint kit will be Slip Solution, Tack Solution, a heat gun, squeegee, and a microfiber towel. And a step-by-step guide in order to create the two solutions will be in the description below. So before starting the installation, we want to make sure we prep the lens. So what I mean by prepping is we want to clean the lenses and remove any contaminants that the lens might have. So we're going to apply Slip Solution onto the lens, and then after, clean the whole lens with a clean microfiber towel. Okay, so to start off the installation, we're going to start by installing this small piece on the lens. So just apply your Slip Solution onto the lens and onto the film as well. And with this one, you want to align it right on the edge here. So just move it to the position, align it, make sure it's covering everything, and also just make sure that it's aligned to the edge here. So it should be like this. So now that we have it aligned in this section here, we could lift the film and start applying Tack Solution. That way we start securing the film and also making sure we remove any water bubbles from behind the film. So hold it in place and just tack it down. And make sure you remove any solution that's behind this cutout here of the taillight, because if we don't squeegee out the solution, you are going to see water bubbles, and when you apply heat, it's going to stay there. So we want to make sure we remove everything from here. Now that we've finished installing this one, we can move on to this section. So now we move on to this section. So apply Slip Solution onto the lens and onto the tint as well. And with this one, you want to align the film to these two cutouts here. So align it right there, lay this flat, leave it there, and just focus on aligning these two sections here. So once you have them aligned here, the next step is to tack this section down. That way we could proceed to stretching the film that way and also this way. So tack this section down. So to tack down, apply Tack Solution, hold it in position and start tagging it down with your squeegee. So make sure you remove all of the solution behind the film here. Okay, now that we tacked down this piece, let's move on with installing this section. So just lift the film here and apply Slip Solution to the lens and onto the tint as well. And then lay it flat. And what we're gonna do is stretch the film to meet it up to this edge here. And once we have it stretched out in the line here, then we could start tacking the section down, starting from here, going that way. So just stretch the film until the tip of the tint here reaches the edge of the taillight. So roughly around there, hold it in position, that way the film doesn't go back. Apply Tack Solution, and the Tack Solution is just to help us glide the film. Use your squeegee and glide it to tack down. So make sure there's no water bubbles behind the film, and once you tack it down into position, you can let go and start working around the edges here. So bring all of the water down and also remove it up if you can from here. Okay, and for this section here, it does have a curve. So in order to tack down this curve here, we're going to apply heat and work our way with our finger, installing it little by little, because we are going to have small fingers. So we're just going to bring them down little by little until it lays flat onto this curve here. So apply Tack Solution and heat around this area, and little by little start tacking it down. And it's just rinse and repeating this step until we tack down everything and remove all the fingers. Also, another thing you can do is wrap your microfiber towel around your squeegee and squeegee at an angle to remove the fingers here. Before you move on with the rest, that this feels flat and there's no fingers popping out on the edge. Once you see that it's flat, now we can move on with the rest of the installation. Okay, so now we're moving on to this section here. So as you can see right here, the film is not reaching up to the edge here. So we need to stretch the film. So when we're stretching, we're gonna stretch here, and also this part of the film, stretching it here to align it to this edge. So to stretch, lift the film, apply slip solution, lay it back down, and stretch these two at the same time. So stretch it until it meets the edge here, and also stretch until you have a good amount of material here to wrap around here like this. So if you see that it's good here, that's where you stop stretching. So just stretch and align. Okay, now that we have it stretched, hold it in position, lift the film here just a bit, apply tack solution here, tack it back down, make sure it stays aligned still, lift this part, apply tack solution here as well, make sure it stays aligned, and then start tacking down this whole section. So just apply tack solution and start tacking down, and make sure to remove any water bubbles behind the film here. Okay, so before we finish off sealing this section here of the film, we want to finish off and tacking down this upper piece here that we still left behind. So let's start with this one. So right here with this one, we're only doing a light stretch. And what I mean by a light stretch is we're only stretching the film up to before this cutout of the taillight is. The reason why we have it only up to here is because if we stretch it to the edge of the taillight here, because this curve right here on the taillight doesn't give us room to tack down the film, and it's going to lift over time if we pass it over here. So we just want to meet it right before the cutout of this curve is. So lift the film, apply slip solution, place it back and stretch it right until you're about to meet this cutout here. So once you have it there, start tacking it down. And now that we have this done, now we can come back and finish installing this section here. Okay, so for this section here, all we need to do is just apply tack solution and a little bit of heat to help tack down this section here. And also we need to make sure before we seal it on the edge here that there's no water bubbles behind here. Double check and see if there's not. If there is, squeegee them out. Once you're for sure good that there's no water bubbles, then we can start sealing the edge here. So apply tack solution on the edge, and then you can start tacking it down with your squeegee. If this isn't helping with tacking down, that's when we start applying heat. So right here, we're just gonna need to apply a little bit of heat, but for now, let's continue on with the rest of this. Okay, so now to secure it into a position, we're just going to start applying heat. Now that we finish here, now we can finish sealing the rest of the film up here. If you do have fingers, in order to remove them, just apply tack solution and heat and your microfiber towel, and they should be good. Okay, so now we're moving on to this piece. So just to start off, same steps, apply your slip solution. And this one, as usual, align it to the edge here. So make sure you have it aligned, and it's aligned on the bottom half of the taillight here. So just like that. So now that we have it in position, lift the film, apply tack solution, hold it in place and start tacking it down. Okay, now that we tack down this section, we're just going to do a light stretch in order for the tint to reach the edge of the taillight here. So just stretch it just a bit. Once it meets the edge, then we can start tacking it down. That should be good. Make sure there's no water bubbles behind the film. Okay, and now we can move on with this section here. So with this one, we just need to shift the film a little bit to match the curve up here. So lift the film, apply slip solution. And what the slip solution is going to do is help us move the film just so it aligns to the edge of the taillight here. So just place it and start shifting it, and you might need to do a light stretch as well. So make sure it's aligned, stretch it, hold it in position and start tacking it down. And make sure you're removing any solution that's behind this cutout of the taillight. And now we can start tacking down the rest of the film here. So to tack down, just apply tack solution so the adhesive can start tacking down to the taillight. Okay, once we ensured that the film is tacked down and we remove any solution that's behind the film. Now we could start installing the last piece here. Okay, so the same steps that we did for this one, we're just gonna rinse and repeat for this section here. So just apply slip solution and align it to this edge first. So make sure you're aligning it here and also aligning it on the bottom half of the tail light here. So it should be like this. Lift the film and we're going to start tacking it down. Make sure it's still aligned before you tack it down. Looks good. Hold it in position and start tacking it down. For this section here, we're also going to do a light stretch, just the same as we did here. So just stretch the film until you meet it to the edge here. And if you're having trouble stretching because the surface is a little wet, dry it out and now you can stretch it. So it should be like that. So hold it in position, spray tack solution, and start tacking the film down. Okay, to finish off, we're just going to do the same thing. Apply tack solution here. Make sure this section is aligned to the tail light here, like that. If you need to adjust it, you can, but just make sure it covers up to the edge. So now, since we see that it's going to fit perfectly, you can lift the film and we can start applying tack solution to tack it down. So make sure there's no water bubbles behind the film. If there is, remove them. And that's basically it, you're done. We're just going to apply tack solution and a little bit of heat to tack the film down on this small curve here. Okay, so once you finish installing the whole tint kit onto the tail light, the last thing to do is just pulse heating all around the film. That way we help the adhesive on the film activate faster and it sticks more better to the tail light. So just apply tack solution, and we're applying tack solution all around, especially wherever we wrapped around and on the edges as well. And then with the heat gun and your microfiber towel, start going all around to start sealing the film. Okay, so that concludes the installation video for the Taillight tints for the 2022 Lexus RX 350. We hope that this video helped you out with the installation. If it did, don't forget to drop a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss any upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.